I appreciate getting questions in email and in the comment section of my videos. And one of the questions I get pretty often is, Jane, how did you manage to move on from your abortion? Now, as you watch my videos, you'll see that I moved on pretty badly after my first abortion. I continued to have sex outside of marriage, and my partners and I, well, we really weren't committed to one another, and we didn't want to have a baby. So, two more pregnancies ended in abortion. The emotional, physical, and spiritual damage was worse with each one. And that's not unusual. Half of all women having an abortion have at least one previous abortion. So, in terms of moving on, please be very careful so that you don't become pregnant again until you're ready and able to bring that child into the world. Now, I know it can be discouraging to hear how women move on after abortion. And because you trust me, I'm going to trust you with the truth of my healing journey and the journey that continues to this very minute. You see, abortion is a traumatic experience. No matter whether you took the pills or had the abortion in a clinic or a hospital, you've suffered a real loss, and your heartbreak is real and normal. For many of us, we hide our pain in anger or we shut down. I did both. I would break out in rage at my first husband, who wasn't the father of any of my aborted children. But whenever I felt ignored or overlooked, memories of being abandoned and helpless got triggered. Our marriage suffered the consequences, and not getting help for my abortions was one factor in our divorce. Now, I realize you may have thought abortion was the right thing for your relationship, or maybe that it would save your relationship. But reality is there's a good chance abortion will end your relationship. It's hard to talk about, and you've both been traumatized in your own way. Facing what happened and learning to forgive one another are really critical to whether your relationship will survive. So the sooner you get help, both individually and as a couple, the better. If you already have children, moving on after an abortion means getting help to understand how that abortion experience could impact how you bond with existing or future kids and how you parent them. Now, here's a video that explains why that's important in more detail. Now, of course, the world doesn't stop because you're suffering. You've got a job, school, family to take care of. Immediately after an abortion, you need to rest and pay attention to your physical recovery. Ask for and accept help. Pull back on your commitments as much as possible. You need the energy and time to move on. I didn't. I hid my abortions, never told anyone about it, and just picked up and went to work the next day and hid it for the next 20 or more years. It's important to watch out for signs that you're burying or numbing your grief in work, busyness, eating, drinking, smoking, drugging, shopping, anything that takes your mind off what happened and the loss of your baby. You see, these are signs that you're not moving on. They're signs of pain. What's hidden, covered, or numb can't be healed. Now, I understand you wanted to know how to move on in a constructive and healthy way, and I've been explaining some of the painful ways that you move on. I don't want you to be discouraged, though, if you find yourself following some of those patterns, because there is hope and healing after abortion. I'm living proof, and so many, many other women have recovered after abortion, too. At some point, many of us reach a place where we can't hide, deny, or justify our abortion anymore. It may be a low point in life that's brought you to your knees, like depression, addiction, or divorce. Maybe someone you love or trust comes along and helps you connect to an abortion support group, or you pick up one of the books in the description below about healing after an abortion, or you find a video on YouTube. Whatever the outward circumstance or situation may be, how you move on is you eventually hear a still, small voice, a sense in your spirit that says, there's another way. Take it. That voice is the sound of God, who loves you no matter what. He's speaking to you, whether you know it or not, or believe it or not. No matter how many men, no matter how many abortions, he loves you and wants a better life for you. That voice that I heard were on a flyer I saw for Rachel's Vineyard retreat. It was also the compassionate voice of a counselor who answered the phone when I called. It was the voices of Tara, Martha, Joan, Bridget, and Betsy, who heard my story in our support group, and they didn't turn away in disgust, but they loved me instead. So, how did I move on after abortion? Well, I moved on the only way I knew how at the time, which was to hide and numb out. And that led to more abortions and heartbreak. But that doesn't have to be your path. There are steps you can take to learn from your mistakes, to grieve and forgive, to repair and nurture right relationships, and to create a good life, the one God wants for you, because he created you for a good and meaningful purpose. This video will tell you more about the 5 paths to healing that I follow and how I've moved on from my abortions. Thanks for that question. Keep them coming and know that I'm praying for you and look forward to seeing you again.